The first feeling is l'esprit de l'escalier. You know that brutal mental torture after an argument when someone drops a slick dig at you and you just freeze. Nothing. Or worse, you stutter out something incredibly weak, then 10 minutes later, driving home or staring at your ceiling, boom, the perfect comeback hits you, devastating, witty, flawless, and completely useless. It's a French phrase that translates to the wit of the staircase, thinking up the ultimate roast while walking down the stairs, leaving the party long after everyone went home. But your brain didn't freeze because you're slow. It did it on purpose. Under social stress, your nervous system locks down your sharpest responses so you don't escalate a fight. The comeback was there the whole time. Your brain just chose peace. The staircase is where that survival mode finally turns off, but by then the moment's gone, and that weird friction knowing a feeling is trapped inside you, but you just can't reach it, goes way deeper than a missed comeback. Leading straight into the second feeling, nodus tollens, this is when you look at your life out of nowhere and realize this doesn't add up anymore. It's not a breakdown. It's just this quiet, eerie realization that your life completely lost a script. Every individual choice you made sense at the time, but looking at the big picture now, none of it connects into anything you recognize. You feel like a main character in a book where the chapters don't follow each other logically anymore. But this only hits people who actually care about meaning. You can't feel like a plot is broken unless you believe there was supposed to be a good story in the first place. It's not a wasted life, it's just proof you're finally paying attention. And usually it hits right before you start writing a totally new chapter. But once you realize your life's plot is broken, your mind instantly starts searching backward, dragging you into a very specific type of emotional quicksand which pulls you into the third feeling. Hiraeth. This is a deep, unexplainable ache, a Welsh word for a very specific kind of homesickness, but not for a house you can just drive back to. It's an obsession with a place that either doesn't exist anymore or maybe never did. A version of a hometown that time completely erased. A version of a person who changed too much to ever get back. Normal grief happens when you lose something specific, but Hiraeth leaves you with nothing to point at. You can't fix it because you can't go find what's missing. It usually catches you off guard, a specific smell, an old song, or the way the afternoon light hits the wall. Your body remembers something your mind can't quite put into words, but at least with this, you know you're aching for something. What's wilder is when that exact same heavy, hollow feeling hits you out of absolutely nowhere, but for no reason at all, which brings us to the fourth feeling, Tosca. The author Vladimir Nabokov once wrote that no single English word could hold this state of mind. It's a dull, vague restlessness, not sadness, not depression, just a random Sunday afternoon where absolutely nothing is wrong, but everything feels completely hollowed out. A longing with no destination, a heavy weight with no explanation. With grief, you're sad about someone, but Tosca is aimed at absolutely nothing. You can't fix it by finding the missing piece, because there is no missing piece to find. You just have to ride it out and carry it quietly until the weather in your head shifts. But when it finally does shift, it can swing to the absolute opposite extreme, into a psychological high so intense it's almost dangerous, and that's when the fifth feeling hits you, forelsket. In Norway, they use this word for that pure, unmatched euphoria of falling in love in the very beginning. Before the serious stuff, before the baggage arrives, it's the rush of love arriving. It's that phase where your brain completely rearranges itself around another person without your permission, where a simple text notification gives you a bigger high than anything else that happens all day. It's a totally different brain state, and it's built to be temporary. Your brain literally cannot sustain that level of intensity. It either morphs into a deeper relationship or burns out. But because it always ends the exact second that high starts to fade, you're forced to face a brutal universal truth that the Japanese spent centuries trying to cope with, leading to the sixth feeling, mono no aware. This is the bittersweet awareness that absolutely everything is temporary. It's looking at a perfect summer afternoon and already feeling it fade into evening. Watching a kid grow up and realizing it's happening way too fast. It's standing fully inside a moment you love while simultaneously mourning its ending. It's not just pure sadness, there's a deep gratitude wrapped inside it. The fact that it ends is exactly why it's beautiful. If the moment lasted forever, you'd stop noticing it. The cherry blossoms matter because they fall. It's brief, real, and already slipping away. But it's one thing to watch a beautiful afternoon fade. It's a completely different level of exhaustion when you look past your own life and realize the entire world is slipping away with it, expanding into the seventh feeling, Weltschmerz. This German word translates directly to world pain. It's that deep exhaustion and sadness that hits when you compare the world as it actually is to the world you know it should be. It's the specific weight carried by people who actually give a damn. It's what happens when you watch the news and see systems fail people who deserved better, or when the gap between human potential and human reality becomes too massive to ignore. But it isn't despair. You can't feel like the world is falling short unless you have a beautiful vision of what it could be. The pain is just proof that the spark hasn't been snuffed out yet. But when that global exhaustion gets too heavy to carry, you start to pull away from society entirely, which triggers the eighth feeling, synapsia. Think about if you've ever been in a totally familiar place when absolutely everyone else is gone, a high school hallway at midnight, an office building on a Sunday, or a mall an hour after closing. The physical space looks exactly the same, but it feels entirely different. It's completely drained of human presence. What makes it so creepy is that there's no actual danger. Nothing changed. But humans are hardwired to read environments through the energy of the people in them. When you take the people away, the familiar instantly becomes foreign. The place is the same, but everything about it is wrong. But if that eerie emptiness completely messes with your head, there is a weird psychological flip side to it, a state of mind where the more hostile the outside world gets, the safer you feel, which takes us to the ninth feeling, chrysalism. This is the deep, absolute, cozy feeling of being tucked inside during a massive thunderstorm. Rain pelting the roof, wind howling against the glass, and you're inside, warm, completely safe. The storm isn't a threat, it's a frame. The crazier the weather gets outside, the more secure and hidden you feel indoors. It proves that safety isn't just about being warm, it's about what you're protected from. The storm isn't the enemy of your comfort, it's the whole reason you feel comfortable in the first place. While you're sitting there, completely insulated from the chaos, you look out the window at a random stranger rushing past in the rain, and a terrifying mathematical realization suddenly hits you, and finally, the 10th feeling is sunder. It's the sudden, mind-blowing realization that every single random stranger passing you on the street is living a life just as vivid, complex, and detailed as your own. That guy waiting for the train, he has a 3 a.m. internal monologue. He's lost people. He's felt Hiraeth. He's felt Tosca. He's had his own version of Forelskit come and go. They aren't background extras in your movie. They are the main character of an entire universe you will never see. Most of us only feel this for a split second because the math is too heavy to carry. Every face in a crowd is a parallel universe running right next to yours, but once you can name that feeling on a crowded street, you can't really go back to looking at the world the old way, and that's the whole point of giving these feelings a name. Language doesn't just describe what's happening inside you, it makes it real enough to hold. You've felt all 10 of these your entire life. You just didn't have the words. Now you do.